Hello, everybody. It is time for another crowd forging and painting session on Crypt Monkey Paints. It's our 100th episode, so we'll be somebody's going to get the bat, the crawling bat that Dawn painted yesterday.
Packaged.
Uh-huh. Uh and today Dawn is working on Nerevin, I think the name Nerevin, the Undead Dragon from our new modelers, DM Dash. DM Stash, yeah. Right.
Awesome name.
I know. It's because I was experimenting yesterday, so everything's off. But anyway, so yeah, thank you, Rock Fan. Yeah, we're gonna get started here. I haven't got my coffee yet. I made the mistake of restarting my system. And every time I restart my system, guess what? All the cameras and audio and everything wants to act up, and I have to get all that garbage working right. But today we're going to be talking about Agdal farmsteads again. I've got a whole new sheet here for notes. I need to open my other one, make sure, because I think we have some other notes that could be important from when we talked about farmsteads before. But we're going to talk about that, and I think now, I was saying yesterday, people know a lot more about the world now. So I think there may be some more ideas about how an Agdal farm look. But hello, Evil Elmo. We are. I'm gonna turn it over to Dawn for the moment while I finally go get a cup of caffeine.
So ready for. That's why. That's the. I was. I wanted to. All of these would be. Bright green. Not just. I hate. What's really nice. So. Failure. All of the. No assembly.
Your audio's cutting, so baby, try to keep your volume up. We still need to look at the noise gates and stuff.
Anyway, sorry about the cutting.
I will try and look at that while we're. Go ahead and go ahead, babe.
Oh, I was just saying that the only other thing. Like I have a version of it where dragon. Also have.
Yeah, I totally see your mic just cutting out, just dropping. when you're talking.
Wait,
test. The mics got swapped. No, I'm looking at producer Mike. I'm sorry, folks. It's because I restarted my system, like I said. Go ahead and talk again, Dawn.
I'm just working. And...
You're only coming in on my mic. That's fun. Like, talk a little bit for me again.
Okay. Gonna keep. William.
Yeah, it's like. Did you press mute or something? This is fun. We're gonna do this live.
Yeah, I know he's coming for me. But there's nothing I can do about it. You see?
Just a moment. Glad they pointed that out because I may not have noticed. I mean, we tested earlier and that part was fine. Your mic was working.
I wonder if whenever you came in,
Working here. Now let's see if it's working over here.
I was wondering if whenever you hit the button over here, if you had pulled this out a little bit. Is it working now?
That might, I don't know. Yeah, it seems to be working now. Everybody can hear Dawn okay, I think, now, right?
I don't really have anything important to say anyway, so it's okay.
Much better now that the mic is on for Dawn. We tested. It was totally working. I looked at all of the bars. It was fine.
Okay. All I was saying was I printed that out at 100% in one piece. I love it. Because that means no assembly for me, which I don't like. So I do have the option to print it in, obviously base and dragon separate, but also dragon, base, and the wings separate so that it makes it in shipping. Or we could print it like this, or I could print it in the slashed up assembly of death. I personally don't think of them. I mean, I understand people have smaller printers, but if you've got the printer size, why would I want to have to assemble this?
Yeah.
It's some smaller models. I don't want to assemble. I don't like assembly. I much prefer just to print it and paint it and be done.
You wanted to be separate from the base, but that's
separate from the base. That's it. That's all I care about. Give me separate from the base because I have spent so much of my beginning painting career cutting Reaper minis off their base so that I can paint everything the way I want to paint it.
Horrifying.
Yeah. Especially because I'm one of those bad people that as I'm cutting toward myself because,
E.T. Lowry says, I like assembly, but these Malifaux minis, oof. It is a dragon, so I love it, Rock fans.
Yeah. The only other thing that I was saying was I was so proud of myself because I was getting ready to get a base coat of colors down on this guy, and it was like, it would look really amazing on this. It's like red and purples and browns and then bright green fire. It would look phenomenal. And then I was getting the images ready for Ty, and I realized that the colored render that DM Stash had done was exactly those colors. I'm like, oh, that's why I thought it would look really good. Because it does. So, yeah, I'm going off the color scheme that DM Stash did for his color render of this model. So, I gave myself a nice bright white flame so that I can get a really bright green going. And then I'm just going to start slapping some paint around. I'm going to keep the base really dark because in his render that he did, he had the, the gray and black rocks, and then he had a really beautiful green glow going down here underneath where the fire is. So I really just want to, I'm not exactly copying it because it won't be the exact same, but those are all the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
So it looks phenomenal.
Ruby.
I have coffee and it's warm.
Mhm.
And I have blue skies and I have leaves falling and wind is kicking again today. Which is really funny because it was like really, really blowing yesterday. And no big branches. But the other day when we had a small gust of wind, we had a giant branch fall out of the sky.
Like it tried to eject half the tree, it seemed like.
Yeah, I literally had to use both arms to drag it away from the road. It was... Anyway, I'm going to start slapping some paint around.
Yeah, I'm opening my other notes because even though I started this new one, we've talked about, especially in general, we've talked about the Agdolph.
I don't know if you want to... Oh, I think we have autofocus on, babe.
Oh, I bet that's right. We didn't even look at that camera.
So this is the finished model from yesterday.
I get save electricity.
So this is the guy that will be given away toward the end of the stream. You must be following to be eligible and on Twitch because we don't have software that does it for places. But he's all finished up and ready for battle. Yeah, he was a lot of fun. It's the silliest things. Like my favorite parts are where his armor is literally chained into his skin. I made it very raw and bloody kind of looking.
How's that?
That looks good. It probably is wrong for my painting,
Oh, yes.
but I wanted to show him off a little bit. So that guy is ready to ship out. Hang on, sorry.
Rockfin says he came out great.
Do you want to focus where my brush is? Actually, that looks really good.
Yeah, it was close to where we ended, yes.
Yeah, but you can't say zoom down like that.
Oh,
Okay. I just realized you're zooming in to get the focus.
oh.
Okay. Because once we go to split screen, F.
And it's a big guy, right?
Yep.
Dude, this. Cool. Okay.
I stay right here. And I'm using my Halloween plates again, which I had actually forgotten that I had.
Oh, really? You didn't use them last time?
I used them yesterday, but like 2 streams in a row, I didn't use them. I was just using regular palettes, like a lame person. Or got me these amazing prints or plates, and I'm going to use them.
The lame person.
So, I will be dry brushing for a while, folks.
I remember. You don't happen to remember. Oh, I bet it's under structures, maybe? Other structures, rather?
Where we were talking about the stuff before.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember exactly, but that makes sense that that's where it would be.
We hit a bunch of basic stuff before, and this was a long time ago. This was, I think, probably a couple of months into doing crowd foraging on the plane. But we hit some things like barns, and there'd be windmills, corrals, smokehouse, outhouse, of course. These are the sort of buildings. Hello, Golden Ghosty. These are the sort of buildings we've talked about already. Probably break it down that way too, because we can do some couple of things, right? We've got culture potentially. Got well, what I was just talking about, structures, farming specific stuff. Lots of these things have been hit when we talk about other things too. Like I don't even remember how we end up talking about like the berry cousins and stuff like that. Might have been about this.
I think so. Hello, Golden.
I think Raffin's gotta go to get some spooky decor at Dollar Tree. We still haven't gone. We were gonna go this week.
Yeah.
I was thinking of something. What was it? Oh, call it mounts vehicles.
Pretty good so far, Golden. We had some mic issues. I think Ty was coming over to check some spots on my mic, make sure all the settings were right because he rebooted. And I think what happened was he like unplugged the cord a little bit because my mic wasn't working in the beginning.
Or just flipping the switch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't do it to my mic though.
Don't know, don't care. It's fixed it now.
Well, we'll see what else. Well, this always pops up, so just in case, I'm miscellaneous too. So just to level set, because I know we have a range of folks on probably that have done the crowd forging with us before on the plane, and maybe some that haven't done it very much. Without going into the whole world's creation, it's a supermassive exoplanet that people from Earth landed on about 3,000 years ago, and big cataclysm happened. They basically got sent back to prehistoric times. So now they're in what would be closer to our Victorian era, the Old West days, but they didn't evolve exactly the same way. One thing, gunpowder's not a thing, so learned that castling is still a legit way to defend yourself, because without gunpowder to power cannonballs, there's not really a reason to get rid of that. Rail magnetic rail weapons are mostly what are used. And they don't have the same oomph to be able to say knock down a castle wall. So I mentioned that because the farms should hopefully look different in people's heads now than they did when I first started doing this, because over generations, a farm, its architecture is going to grow. It's going to become more stable. You know, when they first arrive on a farmstead and they're going to start, I mean, they've got their land ship, big metal box that they usually a 2-story metal box, and that's all they've got. So they have to start building. Subscribers know about the just left me the drying sheds, because when you harvest the berries, you have to be able to dry them out in order to keep until your buyers can get access to them. So they start working on enclosures for their beef cattle, and they start working on drying sheds. Those are the first things they're doing. First couple hundred yards, or several acres or so the first year, they might just be planting in order to propagate the berry cousins, because you sort of mix the planting berries a little bit differently in order to get berry cousins. They're basically, their first year or two is just prepping. But then after they've been there for a few generations, they've got maybe a big house that's built on the land with rocks or stone walls around them, and everything is much more substantial. So with those things in mind, certainly we can start putting some of these things down on paper. Ghosty says, my bad, didn't mean to send that yet. So I was thinking about us people on the plane probably wouldn't really have a ton of contact with others. So I'm thinking they probably have their own kind of way of talking, like their own swear words, slang, even their own accents. Absolutely. Yeah, what we haven't gotten into, so we've focused a lot on places like Longshore and Wellview, and the accents in those places kind of range from sort of clean to a very country sounding kind of accent. Did I miss another part though that said I didn't mean to say that?
Well, he said, so something I was thinking about.
Oh, that bit. Okay.
And then
So Ghosty says, think of things like if someone who isn't from the plain was talking to a plain farmer, they'd be thinking, what WTF did they just say? The whole time, not quite a different language, but still unique. Yeah, I think so. Broken versions of the same language, right?
And we've kind of played with that idea when we're doing campfire stories. We've played with people's what's the word, colloquialism. That's not right.
It's close, yeah.
It was close. You guys know what I'm saying.
Colloquialisms.
Thank you. Yes, we've played with those during campfire stories for sure.
Sayings and stuff like that too. Yeah, that's all super legit, I think. Bigger the world is and as spread out as everyone is.
But I mean, yeah, it's something that it rings really true to me because I've watched TV shows that have subtitles on, and I'm like, why the hell are they subtitling that? They don't need it. And then my best friend is sitting next to me going, I have to read everything they're saying. That makes no sense. I'm like, really? Okay.
Did you say Cajun stuff or?
I just was saying just in general.
Okay.
You know, there's plenty of times, but yeah, there's specifically, that's what I'm thinking about is there's people who have accents, Cajun accents that I think are perfectly clear what they're saying, and apparently it's not. Well, of course, there's other Cajuns that I'm like, huh?
So Rockman says, farming idea, crops descended from corn, potatoes, wheat, but they have mutated and adapted to be unrecognizable from what we think of them as on Earth. We've done a little bit of that.
We've done some of that, yeah.
But as far as them changing shapes, I hadn't really thought about. We were playing like, go ahead.
We were playing with colors and like even we had talked about I think it was
/v.
Apparently, there's some keystroke to do review in voice.
That's funny. I believe it was Cora who's been talking about having a tomato that like glows in the dark sort of thing. Or no, it was see-through. That's what it was. It was like it was something like that. I don't remember. We've got the notes on it some. But yeah, we've talked about that a couple of times because one, you know, genetic engineering and stuff like that to make things, you know, space age people are going to make things work as efficiently as possible. But two, then you also have the plants that are native to this planet crossbreeding with our plants, and then also the different sort of stuff, dirt, chemicals. Words are not working.
Don't know what you mean. Oh, the minerals in the
minerals,
soil?
Thank you. The different types of minerals are also going to
alter
the things themselves as well. So like, you know,
I don't think we talked about before on stream, but we also did on one of our weekend jaunts sitting in the living room. We worked with bees a little bit, right? Because they brought bees here. Bees had there's something similar to bees on Cathar. Now the honey is purple, if I remember right.
Well, it's purple because the purple honey, specifically the bees that go just to the Agdal plants.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
So the Agdal plant,
they actually make a special mead from it.
Yeah, the honey from that is bright purple.
Yeah, Rockfan points out corn today looks nothing like it did 400 years ago. That's true. It's smaller and it wasn't all one color.
So
it's closer to its cousin maize, I think. Yeah, that's definitely.
It's just my toe.
I wasn't sure what
you were just like tapping it. It's not hurting me or anything.
Yeah, I don't and I don't know how much we've talked about those things on here, but those are good ideas we've definitely considered those. This is a good idea to have these plants that were brought that initially seemed fine and normal probably, but yeah, they absolutely.
Yeah. I was thinking, you were saying how they've got, the homesteads start to change and they start to add walls and stuff like that. I mean, like actual homes.
Yep.
Rather than that, and stone walls that are, I'm assuming, are fairly high in like right around the home, right around the other things. Are they like really tall walls? Do they get bigger, taller with age? And are they building those out of stone?
Yeah, well, so I guess it depends on where they picked a spot because a lot of farms are nowhere near something like a copse.
Right.
So even though we've talked about they bring bamboo with them maybe to make their own small bamboo forest to handle wood projects, they're not going to build a whole house out of that and consider it secure. But if there's plenty of rock, plenty of stone for them to get to in most places, so I would say most of the farms are probably built out of stone materials. Some of them are right next to a big copse. They call them copses, but they're really forests that would dwarf forests here on Earth. But they're relatively small on Kethar. So they have access to lots of wood. I think the walls in a lot of cases are still going to be stone if they can get to it. And they're going to be pretty high, like minimum of 8 foot tall. A lot of them may be as much as 16 feet tall, surrounding the, what you'd call it, the farmstead part itself, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the fields, they have their own. Talked about that before, like berry cousins. They have their own protected.
Right.
They don't have to have stone walls.
Well, and that was my main thing about the stone walls. And Ghosty, we'll get to that in just a second.
And rock fan. Yeah.
Oh, yep. So my main thing is like around the fields themselves, it didn't make sense to put a stone wall because of things like the berry cousin, but also because of the fact that as the longer we're there, the more room we're going to take up. So why would you put a stone wall out at the edge of your field? Because then all you got to just move the damn thing constantly.
Yeah, the fields just keep growing every year.
Yeah.
So after a couple of generations, you have miles and miles and miles and miles, square miles of farm. It's just huge.
Yeah. Because not only do the Agdal take up a lot of space, but it's also one of those things that there's not another farmer near you. There's not another farmer within weeks of you most of the time.
Right.
So you're not encroaching on anybody else.
Sure.
So why not keep growing if you're going to be there? So, like you said, kind of generations just kind of keep going and going and going. But I would assume that directly around the house, and maybe that does, get moved out as they, more generations. So like now where we are right now, our kids move out of our house. They don't move in a house next door. They move out of town. They move out of state. They do stay in town sometimes, but in this sort of situation, when a kid grows up and they're ready to move out, they're getting a house next door because they're still working on your farm.
Yeah, the oldest kid, I think I've mentioned this before. The first kid, usually, if the house is there, they've built the house, right? They get married, and their partner moves in with them, right? They get the landship, so they'll move into the landship until they can have a house built or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Eventually, they'll have a house built too. So yeah, you do by the several generations, you end up with a tiny little village essentially.
Yeah,
of both the family and workers that they hire along the way to help. It's enormous job of keeping up with.
Okay, you can get to them now.
But I didn't know if I was supposed to take notes because you kind of reiterated a lot of things,
right?
Which I think is great.
No, that's just kind of I don't think you need to know. I was just kind of going over the.
Okay. Ghosty says, I don't think we ever talked about this, but what's used to feed the meef and the dog ox? Like on Earth, obviously, we use hay and corn to make grain. Maybe we could think of a specific crop to feed the cattle. Yeah, so the meef cattle are herbivores. It is going to be some sort of plant, right? We can do that. The dog ox is a omnivore. So they're like us. They eat both meat and, well, like in the story of Tara Olds, she's eating hopperjack jerky and feeding him hopperjack jerky at the same time with some grains. Um, I don't really have. Let's do a section. It's not wild subject.
I kind of like the idea of having them eat the meat cattle, having them eat like, you know, plains grass sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
they're grazers, they go around and
I mean, it makes sense. That's at least one of the reasons that they would be picked for this is because they're suited to it somehow, right?
yeah.
That could be interesting stories. I haven't even thought about that. I mean, maybe they have wild herds still out on the plain. That could be both an adventure and danger all at the same time, right?
Yeah.
You want to think on that, and I'll jump ahead to
Oh, my back.
the rock fans here
Yep.
real quick. Years ago, stone walls were also landmarkers to show who owned what. Maybe the stone wall have markers that say who owns the, like a brand for the wall. That's neat. That's a neat idea. Like that would be their version maybe of the, the big the ranchers had the big signs over the entryway or whatever. And maybe they do something like that too, but maybe all of their stuff has that on.
Yeah.
Just a reminder to folks as you come on, people join the stream. We can get to 5 or 6 people crowd forging. We're going to switch to the storm. Excuse me. We're going to switch over to the storm crowd forge. Yeah, I like the idea of them grazing on the grasses because it makes the most sense that this is where they live, and that's why part of the reason why they're easy. Like cows are easy. That's why we have cattle is because graze on grass, right?
Yeah.
PT Lowry says, or the marks on the wall, fortress, fortification could be a guild marking saying this guild made this town. Oh, that's a neat idea. I'm going to put that one under miscellaneous. But that is wicked cool. Kind of almost reminds me of like a thieves' can't thing. Like maybe
Right. That's
it's our
exactly
mark,
what I
but
was thinking.
maybe we're saying something too, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking about was thieves can't.
And I mean, it'd be interesting to be in plain sight. Like, yeah, this means this guild, but I haven't noticed those little extra marks in there or something before.
Some
Yes.
sneaky stonemason thing.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is perfect. And if for anybody who hasn't done the crowd forging with us before, we'll jump around 3 subjects at a time to get notes down. It's fine if we're not all talking about the same things. I'm slow, but I'm just fast enough to.
And the beautiful thing is because it's recorded, we can always go back and get what we missed.
I don't miss anything. What? What I miss? Even the thing with Ghosty yesterday, I finally found it. Did you see that just message in Discord? I'm like, I found it. I knew it looked too familiar that we had to have notes on it.
Well, it's like, that's what I was saying was, when, as soon as he said it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I remember that. I specifically remember this conversation. So I knew we had it.
It was very close to the same thing you were saying yesterday. Okay. What are other? Well, so some of the stuff that we hadn't talked about since the last time we talked about this was weather and their communication devices to let us know about weather or to alert somebody that if you have a farmstead that's maybe just a couple of days away, something like that, or we're using sounds or smoke or whatever, right? Like the wind chime, which is basically a big giant empty log that makes a big gonging sound whenever it blows hard enough to hit something, right? A big metal bell or whatever. But that tells them when big dangerous winds are coming. What does that look for?
Giving details and you hit.
Loud. Worse for them than you. Okay. You're worse for me, though.
Yes.
Ghosty says, in medieval Scandinavia, people would create these rune stones that were used to be a memorial to those who died. Not necessarily a gravestone, but just a memorial stone. Perhaps farmers would scatter across their land tall stones with carvings to commemorate those who had passed. Ooh, generation markers. I like that. That is fun. Oh, yep, I can fix that. If I click the right things. There we go.
I was also thinking it might be fun to have the meat cattle eat. Not fun, but useful to have them eat bamboo as well.
Hey, yeah.
No, not hay, bamboo. I got you.
Oh, okay.
My jokes are lame and they're far and few between. So that.
Yeah, that's a good one since they're going to want to get as much as they can out of every resource, right?
Right.
So bamboo being able to be both a food source for cattle and as well as building things would be a pretty important resource then.
Yeah.
Increase the importance. Smoke signals, Rockfan says are easy but weather dependent. Yeah. Or some weather sensitive critter. Oh yes. And if you have a specific one in mind, we actually have I don't remember what one of them was. Because it was compared to the bell, right? Either that or I'm thinking of the leeches and the bell or whatever as a barometer.
Yeah. There's that. There's also a field mouse sort of thing that is sensitive to weather.
Yeah, the weather mouse.
I think so, but I don't remember.
No, it's a Duker mold does not count.
Hate that thing.
I love it. search is not going well. Try to.
P.T. Lowry has a comment about it too.
Oh, good. Okay. First thing that comes to mind are these giant gerbil creatures from Ark Survival Evolved. They freak out when the weather is about to change in the game. Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if we did it on stream or if we did it with just us, but we have a mouse that kind of reacts.
Yeah, we do. We have the weather rodent. Sounds closer.
That sounds
we
closer.
we actually did a dossier on that one months ago.
Yeah.
For subscribers. Structure army. Fauna, here we go. Comment in just a moment. All right. Dig it, dig it, dig it. Rockfans big bells like church bells work better. Yeah, they kind of have that low hum ring too that travels a long way. I don't have. Put it under. Take the other. I like smoke signals if you're just say you're just alerting people on the farm. We have talked about that would go under this too. Those kinds of devices of got people approaching the farm and they might have whistles, tones, or bells or whatever, right? Any kind of distance. Smoke is definitely an. Raffian said maybe the meat cattle eat grasses and bamboo that aren't useful, but they clear the field for planting. Excuse me. Yeah, the grasses, that's a really good point. The bamboo they actually have to bring with them. One of the things we developed earlier on around the giant turtle times.
Sounds about right.
So it's not natural out there, but it can grow out there. So that's one of the things that they bring bamboo shoots or something with them in order to start their own little bamboo farm. But definitely the glasses, that's a good point. Hey, we're going to start over here next year. Let's start cutting this down and leveled out. We'll send the beef over there to eat.
Yeah. So basically, like, this is the next area we're going to work on, so you build your pen for the meat cattle there.
Right. It's all about planning, right? Ghosty says, Dawn, you had literally one chance to use that joke. I don't remember which one. That was the joke you're saying your jokes aren't very good.
The hay.
The hay. Yeah, great timing. Great timing. That's good. Now we're starting to got the gerbil guy. They also leave manure that can be tilled into the soil for nutrients, says Rockvan. Yeah, that's another good point. Maybe it helps with all the plants, right? So maybe you kind of care about it for the ag doll, but you very much care about it each year for your garden. After a while, I think their gardens pretty much become fields on their own when they get people work. Ruffin says, if meat cattle are at all similar to cows, there is old wives' tale that cows lay down in bad weather. I think that could be really interesting. Weather detector, right?
I say let's not make it a wives' tale. Let's make it true. So the way I heard it was you take the percentage of the cows that are laying down versus the ones that are standing, and that's your percentage of rain.
Yeah.
Let's make that accurate.
Okay.
So if you've got one cow down out of 10, you've got a 10% chance of rain today.
I mean, you're going to do stuff like the towns and stuff have, oh crap, Tempest Masters.
Right.
The Tempest Masters are able to like watch the weather for them and stuff. They're essentially weathermen, or weather people rather. And you're not going to have that on a farm.
No.
You're going to be looking for all kinds of, you might have your own piece of the, remember what it's called now. We have like a little green mica type window you can look through to check if a storm is going to be acid. But kind of far and few between what you can do to detect these. Basically, the farmers, which is Rock Fan, basically the farmers watch all their animals' behavior and can tell when something is wrong. Yeah. Like maybe you're looking for earthquakes and stuff, which is something else. Weather road kind of detect.
If I remember right, that seems.
It's bugging me because I can't remember the real name of the weather rodents. Was that I?
Figure it out later, babe.
No, I'm looking now.
No, we have people. Visit with the people.
But I would like to talk about it. You visit with the people. Definitely not in October. Herp. Oh, I think this is it. The other nickname is shoulder rats, I believe.
That's it.
Yep. Weather rodents is like their actual name because of the job that they can do for people, but they're also really good domesticable animals. So they kind of ride on their master's shoulders and stuff like that. But yeah, they're called shoulder rats.
Priorities, Dawn. Priorities. Mm-hmm. I have none.
Mine are, don't let it get stuck in your brain too long. It hurts. You got to figure it out fast. But yeah, shoulder rats. That's what my head is trying to come up. And we got lots of good news. All right.
You turn on the message.
I did not, and I apologize. Do that now.
He is supposed to turn on an automated message to let people know if we get a message during Etsy or on Etsy of what we're doing, because I try to respond to questions or comments or anything like that fairly quickly on our Etsy page. But it is definitely delayed when I'm streaming.
Whoops.
And I just saw somebody sent us a message pop across my screen.
We have to remember to turn it off because it's going to be on until 4 p.m.
Bitch, you scared.
I have to remember to turn it off because it's gonna be on until 4 p.m. if we don't remember.
It's noon.
Yes, that's why I was noticing that. Rockman says if farmers have shoulder rats, maybe on top of whether they hunt and eat other small farm pests like insects or small mammals. Excuse me, lizards. Let's see, what is that going to be? Under fauna, right? I gotta say again, I know I've said it like 100 times. I love the new setup because before when I had like my picture in the plane at the top and stuff, kind of looked neat, but it was so hard to keep what I was taking notes on screen. Now I'm still checking all the time just in case, but
Unlike me.
it's just always on there.
Literally looked like 2 times during this entire stream to make sure I was still on camera.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Rockhands is basically their farm cat.
Oh my god. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I just remembered what happened downstairs. So we have, I don't want to say her name, but we have the automated little voice command thing. I don't want to say her name because she'll respond to me right now, or if somebody else has one in the background.
Your voice assistant.
Your voice assistant. So her name starts with an A. But if you have one, tell her trick or treat.
Yep. Every day you can do it apparently too. From not a Halloween after.
Yeah. It was super funny. And I'm not even going to say what ours did. But it was hilarious.
It was. It was good stuff. And it went on longer than I was expecting too. That was fun. And it all started because Dawn, that's the damn thing, how its weekend was going, I think, or something like that.
Okay, look, here's my thought process on it. If there's a robot rebellion, I have been kind to mine its entire life. So maybe I will be spared.
A little bit. Funny. Come on, work. Trying to fix it since you pointed out earlier that when I was in my screen, it was all over the place. So maybe that'll work. Yes, Rockman, a Bezos box. All right, just a reminder for everybody, you'll need to be for the drawing that'll be coming up after a while. It's going to be for the crawling bat that Dawn yesterday, the armored crawling bat in Ready to Strike is the pose. So that's going to be given away. You need to be following us on Twitch at the time. It'll be we're going to give you a word that you'll type into chat in order to enter, and that's how you'll get your chance. Have to pay for shipping or anything. We're gonna ship it out to you.
It is ready to ship, so it'll be shipped pretty much right away. And another thought. You must be present to win.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to because you got to type something in. Right?
Well, yeah, but you can't type it in and then walk away because we'll do it.
That happened once before, right?
Yeah, it's happened. Like when you enter, if we're gonna
have
call
to
out the winner, and
we're gonna sit for a little while after we enter the text. So
yeah, it's
gotta hang out.
Last time I think it was like we let it go for like 5 or 10 minutes, and in that time, the person who won had walked away from their computer or whatever,
or wasn't on anymore.
But you must be here because we'll give you like a minute, 30 seconds to say I'm here, and then we're gonna call the next person.
Not 30 seconds. Did you say minute or 30 seconds?
30 seconds or a minute, yeah. We're not going to leave it for
We're
long.
going to give more than 30 seconds. Sometimes it takes 30 seconds before people catch up to see what we're talking about. Ghosty says, Annabelle Alexandra, I'm sorry, I don't know her name. I'm thinking I'm going to need you to say her name so I know what you're talking about. Well, what we're talking about.
Sorry, I can't, and I won't.
But I will.
No, you won't.
Alexa, trick or treat.
That's mean.
Ours didn't hear it in here this time. I don't know if she'll do it more than once a day.
I don't think she will. Because she said check back tomorrow. Or come back tomorrow, yes. She said come back tomorrow. So that's really cool and everything. But
the truth is I just whispered in everybody's earbuds probably, so
I did it one time where I called my best friend, because it was back when she still had a house line and one of those boxes that would record your voice called an answering machine. Way back in the day, and it was her birthday, so I called and I knew she wouldn't answer because it was too early in the morning. So I said, Alexa, play Happy Birthday at volume whatever, and it started blasting through her house. It was amazing. She wasn't even angry. Almost dead.
Oh shit.
Not a nice person.
Right. I know.
Never claimed to be. Difference between me and you. You say you're a nice person. I know I'm not.
You're saying I just pretend, right?
No, you're delusional. Okay, get back to crowd forging.
Oh, you get back to it. Bossy. Let me see where we're at. I forgot about that story, so I'm kind of
stuck.
Giggly now. I don't remember. Let me do one quick search here on our regular note. Don't think we've talked about the barges, but you guys can yell or whatever. Like, yeah, we talked about the land barges, no problem.
The land ships?
Land barges.
No, I don't think we have.
Part of the farming process. But I mean, no matches. And I don't think we talked about it, and I apologize if we have before. I thought maybe we had talked about it when we talked about structures and equipment and stuff like that. That's what mounts in vehicles. They're not exactly a vehicle. So one of the interesting things they have, telling you guys this again, just so maybe sparks some other ideas, right? When they have harvest, they have a lot of berries to get at over a large span, a large area, right? Eventually, like we said, it's many square miles that your Agdolf farm ends up. So one of the things they use are these land barges, and I think the best way to describe them is that they're really long wagons that have kind of the same capabilities that the land ship does. So they've got wheels you use most of the time, but if you hit a spot, bring the wheels up and drag it across skids on the bottom, essentially is or skid plate. But they're kind of like big. I keep thinking of like tanker trucks, and if you cut the top off of the tanker truck, it's just like a bowl or a big dish or whatever, right? And they're just really big and long, and they get filled up with lots of Agdal berries, and they'll have a couple of those that they basically put the Agdal berry in and then bring it back to the farmstead again. That's where the drying sheds, where they end up putting all of the trays that are in the drying shed to dry them out so that they'll keep. So I think they usually probably 2 of them are enough, because even though there's a lot, it's mainly because of how far they have to bring so much. but 2 of them are usually enough because, just to remind everybody, an Agdol plant isn't going to grow more than 8 berries. 2 of those berries are for propagating the following year. What? What are you smiling
Well,
about?
there are actually additives that you can buy on the, from traveling salesmen that you can add to your soil that will guarantee you 6 to 9 berries off of every plant at between that number,
Well, it's 6 to 8. I think what you're talking about was the guarantee. It was like 8 to 12 or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah. It's snake oil.
It's crap is what it is. The plants are going to grow more than 6 to 8.
It guarantees you, like, I think what we put it's an ad in the Longshore Carrier, but it guarantees you between like 6 to 12 berries, which the Agdol plant's gonna produce between 6 to 8. So you're always gonna get
That's
that
right.
number.
It was like a reasonable number at the bottom.
Yeah, the bottom range was proper, but
That was like the first excerpt we did, I think.
I think
Had
so.
that ad in it.
That's been part of my favorite part of doing the newspaper is the ads.
I'm gonna jump on a limb here. I think I can actually show that now. I'm on the share now to see.
I'm still just dry brushing.
This is out on cryptmonkey.net if you guys want to go look at any of the stuff on the plane and Kethar. The plane number 2. All right. Just hoping I'm right about this, that it's you can go read all this stuff. It's got I thought this had a, yeah, I'm sure it does that. Yeah, it's got a campfire story in it called Blue.
Yeah, there's the newspaper.
So this is the excerpt from the the Longshore Courier. That's their newspaper that most of Longshore has access to. This may take longer to get to. And this is the one Dawn's talking about. Yep, you're right. You remembered that really well.
I wrote it.
Guaranteed to bloom 6 to 9 berries per plant. Sorry you never get 9. But hey, you got 8 a couple of times, right?
It's just fun.
Uh-huh. Scientific breakthrough. Get your berry build spray here in Longshore for a limited time.
It's a limited time because it's a crock of shit.
And you're
He's gonna sell it and get.
He's gonna go to Flumeton or something next, right?
Yep.
Who is this guy? I'm trying to remember. Oh. Willem Fitz. Find him at Wilkes Public House for more. So yeah, out there now on cryptmonkey.net, you can look at this. This was the second newsletter we did. Each of the newsletters from the second one on includes an excerpt of Longshore Courier, and you'll have a campfire. I've just been really slow about getting them
Moved.
out there,
Published.
yeah. Which I guess is a good reason to subscribe if you want to get it sooner, right?
We stay on top of that part.
No, I guess that's about snake oil salesman. That's right. Yep. Got it, Rock Fan.
But it's fun. I mean, to write about, not to
live through.
not to live through.
We still have them today. Like, how many shampoos promise you it's going to do X, Y, and Z? Oh, guess what? It just cleans your hair. You always have to wonder when you see that little label that says, these claims have not been evaluated by the FDA. Well, that means it's a modern day snake oil, probably. Rockfan says, no, on the plane they're referred to as berry boosters. as the term for con artists. That's fun.
Yeah.
I love CrowdForge. Now I'm in the right file. I am not in the right screen, though. Let me show painting. Really bad now. That is looking gorgeous.
Rars.
Really dig the color. Oh my gosh. And it does not look like that. I mean, it's pretty on camera.
Yeah.
But it's pretty different. It's still pretty, but it's different in person. Let's see. That's going to go under culture.
But because of that exact comment is why I always make sure to share images on Discord as well. So make sure you join Discord if you're not already.
Oh, Ghosty says 3-in-1 shampoos that also give you superpowers. Yeah. Guaranteed to make one leg longer than the other.
Oh. That just literally the combination of everything that just happened. A shampoo for your shoulder rat that enhances his senses. So he can sense weather coming 5 miles further away than normal.
Oh my gosh, a shampoo for your shoulder rat. You should be ashamed of yourself.
This is why I said I love making the ads, because they're all full of shit.
Well, what do you mean, though? The claims like make. That. Oh, the ones you make.
The ones I make are full of shit. No, that's not true. I've made a few real ones, but mostly I have fun making the berry. What are we calling them now? Not snake oil, but
berry boosters.
Berry booster.
What'd you say it was going to do for the shoulder rat?
They'd be able to sense weather changes 5 miles further than normal. I don't know what their actual range is. Maybe we'll put it, not miles, but like 2 days ahead of schedule or something like that. Whatever. Normally they have hours. Now they have a couple of days or something.
Funny. Ghosty. Oh no, that was the 3-in-1. That's where we said. Raffian says, and all the real farmers know it's a scam. Yeah. He's a good dragon boy. Ghosty says, is your dog oxen lazy? He struggled to pull your land ship. For a limited time now, get your dog oxen performance jerky and watch him pull 3 times as much weight half the time. Ghosty's a subscriber, so he's going to actually end up seeing this in the Longshore Courier eventually.
Probably not eventually. Probably actually fairly soon.
Yeah, we'll do it for November.
Yeah.
On.
It's coming for me.
Oh my gosh. Fun. I forgot where my mind was going before all of this. Snake oil.
No, not snake oil. Gotta start using the right term.
Berry boosters.
Berry
right.
booster.
I was going to talk about... So, certainly we love Crowd Forgers. We try to do stuff for you guys, too. So, hopefully next month, we're going to... I don't even remember what it was. We talked about something recently. I'm going to have to look at my notes that we were going to get out on a drive for everybody. Oh, it was the campfire stories. So next month, I'm going to get one of the campfire stories from one of the 2 campfire story crowd forging sessions we did. So I'll get one of those written. The other thing, we talk about Terra Olds all the time. One of the things that we decided, can I talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to a point where we have enough content and we're actually getting ready to release the short story book. And what happened in the course of things is that Terra Olds became a novella as opposed to just a short story. So subscribers will have it. We're giving them out each month now. They're getting pages, that as it's being worked on. But once everything is sort of ready for the short story book, then we're going to give the novella as a digital copy away free too. So that's something to look forward to next year sometime. Before the summer, we hope, but probably by the summer. Harold is an interesting character. Guess I'll leave.
You're so spiky.
I love Tara Old. Tara Olds has a dog ox named Snort. It's fun to write about. Okay. But aside from that, yeah, we've got the campfire story that'll come out next month. Packets mentioned several times, I think, this month that we're getting closer on that, and hopefully all the stories and postcards are done. Send them out. Well, it's not happening. It's not.
It's not that we forget about doing things. We just are slow. It's the problem of being pulled in 15 different directions, you know? Gotta get this done, gotta get this done, gotta get this done. Let go of me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good problem to have a bunch of things to get done, but it just slows us down.
I don't think berry boosters are going to be out on the plane either. They're trying to catch farmers. Well, mostly they're trying to catch farmers that are new.
Yeah,
for the plane.
They want to get the newbies.
Hey, Sawdust.
Hi, Sawdust.
I gotta turn that. Oh. Check that before I go up any line. Better, right?
Yeah. I don't know why it needed to go up. It got me.
Didn't get... or didn't get me bad enough. Okay. They want to get farmers before they leave places like Longshore and Bellevue.
You know, you're still just on me.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I did forget.
You are failing at your job.
It's a daily thing. Still feel like we're missing some. Well, we haven't. We got communication and weather sensing devices, but so far, oh no, well that's not really true because we talked about the Meaf cattle sitting down. Lifestyle of this. Yes, yeah, we talked about that. Oh, I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Sawdust can only hang out for a moment on another gig. Lowry's gonna lurk for a bit and eat some lunch. I don't blame you. So
That's like the first thing we do is like, okay, done. Eat.
Yeah, we gotta eat as soon as we're done here because we don't beforehand.
Yeah.
What I was just thinking is, what do we think about maybe? Let's think about the big gong, like for really big wins, but maybe other people, because that's not going to be an easy thing. You might have to live next to a cops to build that device.
Yeah.
But maybe if you have access to thinner, like tin-like metals or something, then instead you build like, we'll call it a singer, and when the wind rushes through it at a certain speed, well, yeah, but gold's not very hard.
Right, so it'll flap really easily.
I don't know. Well, I'm going to write a note on it, but I'm going to look at how that works, right? I guess I can't imagine it because we would never do that here.
No,
right?
we wouldn't.
Not a chance. Oops.
But tin would be harder to come by than gold.
Well, I don't know. We can talk about it in any case. But gold's fairly easy to get to. So, yeah, if that kind of thing works, the important thing is it has to have that ability to do like a high pitch and that maybe they can even angle it.
This is Dr. Peter J. Hackrip, and I have a warning for you. Someone has altered the stream.
Scared. Like, is he
I
in
know.
the
I feel
room?
like nobody never hear that noise anymore. Okay, what are we doing? I'm scared.
Yeah, that was ghosty, right?
Yeah, I see that.
So anyway, they need to be angled or whatever so that when the wind has a certain speed, it has the ability to make them sing or something that alerts the farm that these straight line winds or something are.
Like city slickers, country folk call people from the cities. Oh wait, shit!
Are you reading something wrong?
I did because I didn't start up high enough. Okay, Golden, that thing is phenomenal, and I'm absolutely happy to paint that one. So I will paint it. I have to check on the stream dates because I don't know what. I'm gonna look at my phone for the calendar real quick. Oh, he's totally gonna have the sword.
Okay, I gotta catch.
You got to go with the rock fan stuff because I completely missed that, and I got it out of order here. Okay, so Golden, next Saturday is the Saturday and Sunday is the one right before Halloween. So I don't know that I want to paint Fenrir then. I may wait one more week so I can paint something really fun for Halloween. But I don't know yet.
Not that that's not fun.
Not that that's not fun. It's just not exactly like Halloween.
We got to
like,
do Halloweeny stuff.
Kind of want to do something. I almost want to do like another, like I did the zombie head last year. I almost want to do something along those lines again where it's like going to be decoration for us as well. But maybe I'll do Fenrir on Saturday and the decoration for us on Sunday. I might do that.
I'll let you decide whether he has the sword or doesn't. That's all good. I get it. He's not super spooky, so yeah, just whenever. Of course, meet him face to face. He's spooky.
He is pretty awesome.
Okay. Culture.
This is what happens with something super spiky. Keep getting all these supports that I thought were spikes, and not. It's a support. Trying to decide what to do next.
Excuse me. I don't even know. Did I read this or did I only take notes on it?
I think you just took notes on it because I was talking.
Okay, so Rockman says maybe the new farmers are coming from the cities by waters. The generational farmers refer to them as wetmen, like city slickers. Country folk call people from the cities. I like this in principle. The only thing is I'm trying really hard not to give them any fast ways to enter the plane so that it keeps that whole. We need something else. Nature isn't providing us a quick way of getting there, right? But that doesn't mean they don't call them something like this, right? Wet behind the ears or whatever. I think they probably would, especially if they're grumpy and they're getting questions they don't want to have to go over or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Good. Pete Lowry says, and characters with animals are always fun. I had an NPC barbarian who rode a giant Arctic rhino named Puffy.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? And Golden, to answer you, yes, there would definitely be horses on the plane.
Yeah, so
Definitely something we would have brought with us.
yeah, both things are true. So there are different animals that were already here that people ride like horses, and there's horses that we brought as well, and wild horses even. They've been able to manage to survive. They escaped the cataclysm, and I would say we regained horses again later. P.T. Lowry says, I'm so glad as the DM in the campaign the PCs didn't poke that bear. Oh, I gotta get more coffee. I'm gonna put it over on you while I go up.
Find his.
Oh.
I'm sure they're in here somewhere. That does not work. And of course, you walk away and the music stops. I'm just laughing about it, is all. He's in there. Of course I spill. Because he's making a joke of, he doesn't have to make the coffee. It's already brewed. All he has to do is gather it. Or pour it in a cup, whatever. We're talking about farming, so I'm gathering. There we go. Of course, you walk away at the time where I'm doing something super detailed and I don't want to talk while I'm doing it.
I thought it was opportunity knocking. Ruffian says, just thought it would be funny to have some tension between long-established farming families and newbies. Oh, yeah. I mean, we talk about how they're weeks apart and stuff, but they aren't all. Some of them might be right next to each other because their families both perceived an area as rich for growing the Agdal. So eventually you may end up, after a couple of generations, having like boundary disputes, stuff like that, right? On land that has no boundaries. But I want to go this way. Well, I want to go that way.
Yeah.
Even though you could just go on the other side of your field maybe and grow out that way and it would grow just as well. No, this is going to be better. P.T. Lowry says, sounds like Hatfield and McCoy's, different families and different hollers not seeing eye to eye. If you've ever been to West Virginia, it's a wild, wild place out in the sticks. I've not been to West Virginia. I think that is one of the places in the East I have said I'd like to go because, not that I'm a big wine geek, at least not anymore, but I saw pictures of vineyards on the sides of a mountain. I want to go have a glass of wine there. That looks fun. Because they were terraced on the side of the mountain. We live in wine country here in Missouri. It's all, hills that aren't like that, you know? Already it went off. Did you?
Said you fix it when you come back.
Oh.
Already forgot the conversation.
Yep. Up my water.
As he takes another sip of his coffee.
Water in it. Ghosty says, West Virginia is a very unique place, I can say that. And P.T. Lowry agrees, it is very unique. Rockvan says, they also don't take kindly to travelers unless they're a trader. Adventurers just bring trouble and are thought of greedy or lazy because they don't have a hard-working, respectable job. That is a good point. Oh, lost my note. Doo-doo.
Painting toenails.
Wrong screen. Yeah, I think there are definitely going to be a lot of people that are sort of, well, they're hard-nosed, serious people, especially in the middle of the generations. You got to wonder, like, what's it like to be a second or third generation farmer who's not, you don't have enough yet necessarily to go back. You haven't made enough money to go back. You're not super wealthy, but you also didn't ask to be born into this really tough life out on the plain. I can easily see people being born going, man, I'd have been just as happy to be a clerk in a postal service rather than out here with these calluses,
Right.
So they're living hard and they still have no sight of the wealth that their family will have eventually. It's just their life. That's it. So I imagine that would make a lot of people sort of hard and angry and grumpy. Thing is so big. Switch back to the other screen. Oh, I didn't get the adventures. Yes, I did. It said it twice. Oh, no, I see. I should read fully before I say that, right? Rockfan continues, they also don't like adventurers filling the kids' heads with nonsense. The kids are expected to stay on the farm. No need to leave and explore the world, only the farm. Yes, indeed. You're putting them wrong ideas in their heads. It's so big. Oh, that's not bad. I think it just was where yeah, I can see that and I can see from the other side of that too, that if you are that kid and the adventurers or guides or somebody, military guys, the mercenaries or something like that, just about anybody traveling through with buyers or traders, you're gonna feel a little bit of that wanderlust, like, oh, this farm sucks. I just want to go see one of the cities on the edge of the plateau or something like that.
And you will have those, some of those family members, leave out and go join the traveling circus sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I didn't sign up for this shit and I don't want to do it.
Right. Ghosty says, so this is a little off topic, but I think it could be kind of cool if there were like famous or notorious animals across the plain, like a dire wolf that's a well-known man-eater.
I like that idea.
I see where this is going. I like it too. Or maybe an unusual large wild dog oxen. just little like known creatures that maybe hunters have like bounties on or something. That is not sure if I should put that in miscellaneous or culture.
I think culture. I think we already have that here, like people will have that. An alligator hunter goes out and he names the one that he can't ever seem to catch, and he knows it's out there. He knows it's big. He's seen it, but he can never catch it, sort of thing. I think there would definitely be those. There's a unicorn that is meaner than the rest.
Yes. Wow. Meaner than the rest. That's a terrifying thought. Rockfan adds to the adventures thing. So if the players are traveling, they may not be welcome to take shelter on a farm.
Not without bringing presents.
Yeah, and depending on how big their party is too, I guess, because you like the hell, I don't remember the name of the monkish types that worship the berries.
The guys that travel on the reindeers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember their names either.
Because they're just, they can be all nice and sweet, but they're intimidating because they're known to go violent, and they have a big reindeer with them. That the farmers are kind of like, yeah, sure, you can sleep there for a couple of nights. They like to sleep next to the different Agdal fields and prey and stuff.
Yeah, the Agdal or the farmers don't want them there, but they also don't have the ability to really tell them no.
Yeah. Ghosty says, not sure if that'd make any impact on the world, but could just be a cool depth thing. Maybe
Yeah.
they just show up in the newspaper like an article for a bounty on Tiny, the man-eater wolf.
I mean, I can see that even going into some I really going into a really rich area for
Gaming,
but also campfire stories.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, that's easily like one of those recurring campfire stories or something, right? All the terrible stories. And the reason we put it in culture, for me, the reason we're putting it in culture as opposed to miscellaneous is oftentimes these things aren't real. You know, you think about they take a shark out because somebody's been killed by a shark, but it's probably not the same shark, you know.
Right, yeah. They go in and they got the shark, yay, and they inspect its stomach and it's got a license plate in there.
Arfin says, Farm Boy wanting to leave home is a great player background, maybe taking after the estranged uncle who is the disappointment of the family for leaving the farm. Yeah. What screen I was on it? The alligator from Happy Gilmore, says P.T. Lowry.
Exactly. That's exactly the thought right there.
Well, even on I can't remember the name of it, but the Alligator Hunter show, that all takes place like near where we grew up, Louisiana.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, is there's a couple of them on there that have ones that are named.
In fact, one of those guys I met when I was a kid, he was a friend of my dad's or something. I met him in Hammond. But yeah, one of them was named, that's right, and they were trying to get that alligator. Ghosty says there's a really well-known man-eater gator named Gustav. He's been hunted for years, but as far as I know, he's never been caught. Is Gustav the one that we're thinking of on the alligator hunting show? What is that called? Swamp
People.
Swamp People.
It's been so long since I've watched the show that I don't remember the name.
I can't remember his name, but the guy that I met in a bar when I was a kid with my dad, I think they were kind of friends or whatever, was the one that's always wearing the welding hood thing. He's not wearing a welding hat, but it's a thing you put on your head, welders wear to kind of cover their head before they put their hoods on. He always wears that. It's got an American flag on it, like a bandana. Ghosty says, right, it's like 100 wolves kill 100 people, but people think one wolf did it. Right. Yeah, that kind of thing. Gustav is attributed to like 300 kills? That seems crazy. That sounds like very cultural rather than real. Like, why were 300 people stupid enough to get that close to the edge of the swamp, right? P.T. Lowry says, think that guy's name was Bruce or something. Yeah, I can't remember. I either met him in Hammond or in Laplace, where we It was weird though when he showed up on the show. I recognized his voice. I recognized the way he looked and everything. And obviously, I hadn't seen him since I was a teenager. Oh, P.T. Lowry asked, Ghosty, wasn't it in a third world country where lots of people bathe, go to water sources, India or something? So it'd be like a crocodile or a caiman. That does sounds really familiar. It was like a 1 hour documentary on that. Well, the one I'm thinking of anyway. They finally got it though. It was huge, huge. Ghosty says, yeah, he's a Nile crocodile. Oh, Nile crocodile. That's rumored to have killed 300 people. He's in Burundi, and the Nile River is used very often for bathing and for water. Wow. Ugh, crocodiles. Ooh. Alligators too. Crocodiles are even bigger.
Completely off subject, but it's not. Because crocodiles. I was watching was on TikTok, and one of the videos was a happy ending before I start this. It was an alligator jumped up out of the water and grabbed a guy's dog and pulled it into the water. It was a little dog. Dude just jumped in. And next thing you know, like he's like higher than waist deep. He's up to the water in his chest, to his chest.
How big of a gator was it?
And I don't know. And all you see is him struggling, and all of a sudden he pulls the dog up out of the water, tosses the dog, and then he reaches back down and he's got a hold of something else. And then he's like walking out of the water, and he kind of throws the gator away from him as he gets out of the water. The dog is just kind of sitting there barking at the edge of the water. He picks him up and goes away. And I'm like, holy shit.
Holy crap, man.
Dog seemed fine. Dude literally jumped in, saved his dog from an alligator. It was kind of amazing. But him and the dog both seemed okay. That's why I said started off with happy ending here. Anyway, sorry. Get back on subject.
Actually, I'm getting the drawing ready.
Wow, I have never. Ghosty, I did not. I didn't even know a kangaroo would attack a dog. Why the hell?
No, I haven't seen that. That sounds worth looking for. P.T. Lowry has seen kangaroos will drown.
What the hell is wrong with a kangaroo? Why?
I mean, they're big rats, right? Oh no, I've had this discussion before. They're not rodents. I always say that they're rodents. They're not. John Wick is real, Rockvan said.
John Wick goes on his rampage because of his dog.
Gotcha. It's something they do, Dawn, is what P.T. Lowry says. In weak ass Australian creatures. Ghosty says, yeah, kangaroos are dicks. If a predator is chasing a kangaroo, it will throw its baby to distract the predator.
What the?
That's
Why was I brought up to think kangaroos were fun and awesome animals? They're assholes. I no longer like kangaroos. What the hell?
a whole different perspective on why they have that pouch there. It's like we thought of as that's where the baby goes, and now I'm thinking, is that just ammo or a smoke signal ejection?
I hate kangaroos.
Rockvan says kangaroo are from Australia. Ghosty says the kangaroo had the dog in a headlock, so the owner just walked up and decked the kangaroo in the face, and it looked so shocked.
You're not supposed to stand up to me.
Scariest place on earth, Rockfan said. Agreed. It's
Yes.
scary.
I always thought I wanted to go. And then I saw some of the animals there, and I don't want to go.
Larry says, Dawn, they lure animals into the water, then do their thing. Kind of a defense tactic.
Okay.
Wow.
So the plane is going to have a kangaroo that is tiny, defenseless, and tastes delicious.
Ghosty says Australia is where the devil keeps his pets. Nice. Yeah.
Seems more like Australia is the place the devil puts the things he doesn't want.
Stay in the safest place from the devil is the most dangerous place to live. Big kangaroo-sized drumsticks. Sign me up, P.T. Lowry said.
I'm not kidding. We're going to have an animal. It's going to look like a fucking kangaroo. It's going to be a delicacy, and it has no defenses. Karma.
I don't know if that really counts as karma, but when do we want to do this giveaway, Dawn?
I am approaching the finish line here, so
We should
pretty
do it.
soon.
Okay. On Twitch, in your chat, like everybody, I'm going to paste this.
No. I have a saying.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Yes.
What is it?
Kangaroos are assholes.
Man, come on. This is always, you always do this. A, you can't spell it. B,
I can spell
I've got to type
kangaroo.
it in.
I can spell kangaroo.
Okay, let's hear it.
Kangoo.
Kangoo. We just spelled kangoo.
That's not right, is it?
But I'm supposed to do these 50-cent words.
Wait, Kangroo.
No.
No.
Kangaroos.
Oh shit! It's right freaking there
Yeah.
too. I didn't even.
Kangaroos get wrecked. In our make-believe world, we have an animal that is somewhat similar to you, and people kill it. That was Ghosty.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, you can do your saying though.
E.T. Lowry says, coming to Crypt Monkey's Etsy, kangaroos are assholes. Dash Dawn. I was thinking we just do 100 baby.
Okay.
So I'm pasting it into the Twitch chat now. So you. Word to
If I
type for your answer is all one word, 100 baby.
If I remember right, case doesn't matter.
Case does not matter. There's no space between 100 and baby. It's all one thing. But as you type that into your chat, then you will be entered into the drawing. We'll give everybody a couple of minutes. If we have anybody lurking in the background, now's the time to show your face and type into the chat 100 baby for your chance to win the painted armored crawling bat that Dawn did yesterday.
I'm getting all the lurkers to look back and know that you got to type the word in now.
And Rockfan types in 100 baby and spells it out. I love it. Yep, anybody hanging out in the background, now is the time. Yeah. I think we still have some old they called on our Twitch stuff where they take a snip. Like lost
Clip.
Yeah, the clips, is that what they're called? There's a bunch of me like jumping.
I think there's more of me.
There may even be some of me dancing when we're still in the other area. Like Cora would get on, and every time somebody put bits in, I would dance in my chair. The laziest dancing ever. I'm just not leaving the chair. I'm just. Oh. Yeah, Kosi says we have a few good ones rather. Nice. I might already be able to go, but I need. Hope the noise gate works well enough that you guys don't hear me belching quietly.
I think they do.
Think.
You guys hear him burping constantly? Yeah, I was happy to realize how close to finished I was with this dragon when I realized my stomach was growling, and I'm worried that you guys are going to start hearing it growl soon. I'm so glad I'm almost done.
Okay, I think we're about ready, Dawn.
I would say I would do a drum roll, but it's really annoying and loud, and I have no sense of rhythm. So
give just a couple more moments. If anybody's sitting in the back,
what I will do,
you want to enter 100 baby into your Twitch chat now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, babe. What's that? Oh,
put him on screen. My big messy palette in the background.
It looks beautiful.
Stand him up proper.
Oh, is that a commission, or do we get to keep that?
It is not a commission, but it is for the table.
You see how I tried to trick my way into owning that?
Yeah, no. So what I will do instead of drum roll is I need to shake my paint, so.
Yeah, I got you.
Wait, it has little BBs in it. I guess I need more BBs.
It does or doesn't?
It does, but it's like I can't even hear them.
That's all right. You're giving folks that are lurking another chance to enter 100 baby into chat now.
Already have 2 BBs in here.
That's nice. Rock Band got in a 100 icon of a baby.
Okay, there we go. Drum roll.
All right. Roll it. Golden Ghosty, you have won the painted, which is interesting because you just painted the unarmored version yourself, right?
Yes.
They are cousins that will sit next to each other on the shelf.
This is Ted. Have Greg.
Congratulations, and thank you guys
Yes,
all
congrats.
for hanging out on our 100th episode.
I have gold and I have your address, so.
I guess we're not adding the episode numbers anymore, but that means I have to figure out a different way to figure out all of my files and stuff. That's how I've been storing everything at episode 100.
Yeah, if you want to, that's fine.
Yeah, Ghosty says, sweet, yeah, I did so. I'll have both now. That's awesome. Absolutely.
You are definitely welcome.
Still on. Switched over. What about you, Dawn? Is there anything else you want to talk? This is like a lot considering we've talked about farms before.
Yeah.
This is a lot, which is good because it's an important part of. It's where we started developing this whole world of Cathar. It was on the farms. I like the cultural stuff we got today, guys.
Yeah.
The kids alone that we were talking about recently, the kids, that because that's on my mind a lot is wow, if you're second generation, you had no choice and you're not going to get anything out of it that's big like a couple of generations from you will.
Yeah. None whatsoever.
But the goals of the first person, the first family that comes is they want to get away from it all. They want this sort of hard but lonesome life. It's something that appeals to them. And they know that in a couple of generations, their family will essentially be baronies.
Yeah, they're building up their name, But
the people in between, I can imagine some kids are like, I wish this farm would fail so we could just leave. Uh, Ghosty says, man, I never realized how sad the life of the farmer is. Several generations have no choice but to just be a bridge for the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people too that are born because the plain is beautiful, even though it's dangerous, right? It's you live next to a copse or something, and you have forest and plain, and it's gorgeous. So I'm sure it appeals to a lot of people. I can imagine, farmers may have large families to ensure that they've got somebody who's not going to run off. To try and ensure that, rather.
Well, yeah, and you need the people to work the fields, so.
Yeah, the same reason that farmers for generations previous, before the Industrial
Machinery.
Revolution, big families was for help. Even I'm sure that part of the reason that my family on my dad's side was large is because they were farmers.
Yeah, same here. My mom is one of 8, technically 10. She was one of 10 because they had a farm.
Mm-hmm. Raffian says, can definitely see second or third generation having a lot of kids leave. Yeah, and at least in my imagination of all of this, the first generation kids may be like totally cool with it. It's like an adventure, They grow up on the trip out, or
Yeah.
whatever it may be new for them. Of course, a lot of people may not have kids until they get out there, so maybe first generation kids are actually still pissed off. Because everybody's bored with what they're born in, or bored with what they're born into, right? How many people want to leave the town they grew up in? Or Ghosty says, funny, my mother was on a farm and she was an only child, whereas my dad lived in a tiny house in a small town, had like 6 siblings. Oh, lived in town with that many too. Well, I mean, obviously there's different reasons, that my dad had 8 kids in their family. They were farmers. My mom had 8 kids in their family, but they weren't farmers. My grandpa worked in a lumber mill. My mom's side. But yeah, things have changed. It was my parents' generation, I guess, where they started having fewer kids. Not everybody, obviously. Dawn's got a lot of siblings, but I think it was my generation where they started saying 2.3, the family with 2.3 kids or whatever.
Yeah.
Rockin says marriage must be a big deal to farmers. Definitely more of a business transaction to solidify relationships between farms. Make a note of that. Culture. Because it could be that on the plane, maybe distance between them and the rarity of seeing other people and stuff, they may have like agreements. They may go back to the old arranged marriage thing and stuff like that, right? See dowries of prime planting berries or something like that you might trade or something. Yeah, that's a great point. Oh, we want big screen? Is that what we're doing here?
Oh, I'm just making sure I've got the fire lighting up the rock in the right spot. I've got it lighting up all back here as well, but I'm making sure that's just a small glow.
Yeah, that's good. You left the rock dark because that.
Yeah, so like even the back of it is very dark. And then this is all lit up, but this is super bright green and this is vague green.
That looks good. I remember the first time you tried a glow effect. You were pissed.
No, I wasn't. I mean, well, yeah, I was. because I had this big, beautiful spider and she was perfectly done. And then she had a light, I put a fireball in her hand, and then I was doing a glow effect, and all of a sudden she was yellow. Well, it was yellow everywhere. So I've learned, I start off I do multiple passes to get the right balance going, because a yellow spider.
I'm going to add these other ones Rockfan has. Rockfan says, marriage is needed for more generations. Also important bringing gifts to show you are a good marriage candidate. Yeah, that's funny. I knew it was a thing, obviously, like organizing this stuff, but I hadn't really thought about it much. That's an important subject. If they are giving up a worker, what are they getting to replace the hands? Kids from the marriage split between farms? I think, at least so far, the little bit I've thought about marriage is that it's a mix of happenstance. A lot of times it may be people that you've hired to work on the farm, your kids marry their kids. But it could even be as odd of situations as a buyer comes through with his family and kids fall in love or whatever. Somebody making a weird trip, like, well, I'm moving from Wellview to Longshore, so they're just like, 20-year trip, here we go, and they meet along the plateau or something as they cut across. But yeah, as far as what do they get to replace hands, that could be in the trade. Maybe that's somewhat regional too. I mean, maybe there's parts of the plane where they're like, people meet. We're not trading anything. And then families just have to struggle through losing somebody, right? Or maybe the farms are close enough and the kids travel back and forth to help in both places. You know, we'll work here this year, we'll work there next year or something. There could be all kinds of interesting negotiations and arrangements, right?
Or the kids are like, nah, we're going to go start our own. Yeah.
Although that's a lot of work. They'd have to be the same kind of person as the first generational parents were, right?
Yeah.
Fan says, kids falling in love with some random traveler, very looked down on because you are taking away from the family. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm sure it would be. Good. You're good. Cool. I realized I was making notes and not showing anybody. Yeah, I bet it is sad, but I'm sure it does happen. You're right. Excuse me. The funny thing about stuff like this is it's good background story for stories, or it could be a good romantic adventure or something like that. For gaming, I wonder sometimes if people don't think, why are you going over this mundane crap, right? But it's more texture for the world that we're building. Details that may be important and very evident, depending on what we come up with. Rafian says, love may be something some family farms literally can't afford. Yeah. Because he says backstory matters in this stuff. Absolutely. I think so. Certainly in the stories, for sure. And I think it adds things. I mean, I'm saying it's mundane, but the truth is you could quest for something like, my daughter was stolen. She's been kidnapped, and I think she's over at the other farm, and then you adventure over there, and this farm's got all of these hands, and maybe military is just about to leave the plane or whatever. You fight your way in and find out, oh, well, He wasn't kidnapped. It's more of a Helen of Troy situation going on here. They fell in love, right? A rock fan quotes, "If you don't marry the Duneman's kids, we won't get the new harvest." Yeah. Oops. I haven't done that in a while.
What'd you do?
Hit Control V so it looks all blue like where I copied it from. Guess that's PT Lowry says, or a farm is sending people out to kidnap other farmers and press them into service. Yeah.
That sounds like something that the Golden Ghost would be sent to stop.
Yeah, maybe. Depending on how big the situation is, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we talk about how there's pirates on the plains that like to catch farmers somewhat coming in, but mostly leaving the plane because they've got all that wealth with them. But I have thought about how farmers, you think about the Old West days and ranchers sort of pirating over each other, just taking a whole other ranch out to get rid of the competition, you know?
Yeah.
I can totally see them pirating on each. Ghosty says, backstory adds depth, depth adds emotion, emotion adds engagement. Agreed. Well said. Rockfan says, it can be a hard life. Yeah. Ghosty says, I could definitely see the ghost being sent to stop that. Slavery and human trafficking, pretty much. I can see it, but it has to be on a certain scale, I think, because he's still a stalker. He still needs some money. But sometimes he finds ways of getting it from the person he's hired to handle. So this could be a situation that maybe he's able to help out and still get paid. Sunburen, hello.
Hello.
Love the green fire, she said.
Uncle. Still going to be making it brighter here in a few minutes. I'm kind of letting the layers in between dry, but like every time I add some more of this green that I'm working with, Tesseract Glow, it gets brighter and brighter.
You missed the drawing. We did that about 10 minutes ago now, I guess. But yeah, so we were crowd forging things on the Agdal farm today. There, I repeated myself, but you don't have any paintbrushes to pull out of your hair on me.
No, I don't.
Golden Ghosty one. We have gotten so much stuff today. Lots and lots of cultural things. I just think it's fun to talk about, like, animals is what we oftentimes, lots and lots of on animals. Right? But
yeah,
cultures,
like kangaroos are assholes. Now hate kangaroos.
But culture is super important to again add extra texture to our world. We're gonna have to look into the gold thing for the fins for the the wind warning.
Yeah.
I like the idea. For the most part, I like the idea. Unless you're trying to like not have your farm noticed. But I guess you could paint over the black so that it doesn't shine sun.
Yeah.
Black. Paint
Paint
black
it-
over the gold is what I
Yeah.
meant to say. To avoid, sort of telegraphing to pirates and stuff that, hey, I live over here. Eventually they're going to find out, but you hope that your farm builds up to a certain point before anybody realizes. Some parents says, I hopped over here. Okay. Well, welcome again. About the out. Structures, we didn't go a lot for structure ideas. Certainly, if anybody has any, feel free. Interestingly enough, the farming, planting stuff that we talked about was completely non-Agdal. Mounts and equipment, we don't have anything. Fauna, we got a bunch of new stuff on that. Got some cool miscellaneous. So I'll go over Agdal a little bit, just to reiterate at least. We've got the berry cousin, which, so the way that you grow an Agdal plant is two of the berries are slightly different color. Well, not slightly, they're very different color. And you plant them together to make the next Agdal plant. And you get to split them, actually. So you pickle them through the year in a big thing of water. It's not really call them pickling. But you get to slice them in half. So each Agdal plant, you're going to get 2 more Agdal plants the following year. But what you can do is instead of splitting it with the 2 planting berries, you split one of them. I should probably look because I don't remember the colors. Was that last month, right? September. Let's see. Oh, I don't remember. One of them orange?
I don't remember.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm having trouble thinking about anything other than what I'm going to have for lunch. I'm not going to lie. I am
They're bright orange.
very, very hungry.
So they're specialized. The 2 orange berries are specialized to reproduce the plant. And like I said, you can split them in half and effectively get 2 plants out of that one your following year. But to make the berry cousins, excuse me, you're going to take orange and plant it with the other berry. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so you take one of the orange berries and plant it with a purple berry, and you get berry cousins. Berry cousins, for those that may not know, first of all, you don't have to replant them every year. They're kind of a different kind of plant from the Agdal because they don't have to be replanted. Instead, they're just there. Plant them. They look similar, except they have vines on top of the ground. These vines have big, like, sharp thorns on them, and they're actively going to defend the area that they can reach. And farmers will plant them around and throughout their fields to protect from people coming in trying to steal their berries, right? Or other plants or animals that would be willing to go into an Agdal field. They're not going to want to go by the Agdal or the berry cousins either. So there's that defense that farmers are actually capable of growing, though. Rockfan said, wait, am I skipping? Some says that green would be so awesome painted as a whole skin for radioactive goblins. Yeah, it would. Rockfan says, I'm not sure what animals already exist for this, but farmers and their workers would need the equivalent of a horse to make rounds of the property. Yeah, they may have a horse, or they may have one of several other animals that are able to ride. And then, of course, you can ride a dog ox. They're not real fast, but
No, that's actually, we've talked about this. That's actually how you start teaching your kid how to ride a horse.
That's right. It was one of the dog oxen discussions. Because they're relatively slow and gentle, and they like to do it. They get all excited whenever somebody's going to ride on them. Oh, there it is. Already there, I bet. I take notes oftentimes about things we already have because I think it shows importance in the subject matter anyway. And if it's just a reminder, we need to develop this. Speaking of fauna and the Agdal field, there's also field pups. Oh, let me switch over.
Yeah, I think I'm done. I want to raise him up. How did I do that yesterday? I think I'm used to this.
There's also the field pups, which which stay in the fields, and they, like the cousins, actually the berry cousins, learn the scent of what is family or safe or whatever, and they won't attack it. Of course, there's the Agdal berries plants themselves, which produce a smell that things like reindeer don't like. So Agdal plants actually help keep reindeers away from your farm. You. Reindeers being the up to 8-story tall, similar to reindeer herbivores that go across the plain. Got some more you want to do?
Well, I just realized I did this really nice border because they have like this little fabric looking folded over the base.
Yeah.
So I think what I want to do. Oh, thank you.
Sunbaron.
I think what I want to do
and there are
is
tombstones.
make it because this is so wet. Like I'm gonna make this brighter, but I just need to let it dry completely so that I can, because I want to get it as bright as this is, which doesn't look as bright as it actually is on the camera, but whatever. So I think I want to put this in a nice chrome color, or it's the bronze color, sorry.
The black parts?
Down underneath, yeah. And then leave this black, let that be red, and then let this be the... Do I want to do silver? Dark iron.
Rockfan says green fire should be part copper dragon.
Okay. But
It's an undead copper dragon?
the evil chrome looks much more coppery, so I'll use that. Oh, maybe I'll mix those two.
Yeah,
that's
think of
better.
what other defenses we had in mind. Oh, there's moss if you live next to the copses. Next to a copse. Probably a better way of putting it. Then the moss that lets the spore pods out to, well, what it does it for is to let the spore pods go up and kill the large flying creatures so that when they land, there's a new community of moss starting, right? Fungus. But then the thing that farmers use it for is also once every 100 years, there is a plague of what's called death locusts. For those down south, you might know about the red devils. They're big black grasshopper looking things with red underneath their wings. So they look like that, but they only come out every 100 years. They finally crack from their eggs under the ground, dig their way out, and they are meat eaters. Come out in millions and look for food. And a few days later, they lay eggs and die themselves, setting a trap for our next generation. But anyway, So that's like, why was I mentioning this? Well, it's because the moss also defends against those. So farmers will take the moss and cut rolls of it, bring it to their farm, and then surround them and their livestock. The moss knows when these 100-year plagues happen. Release their spores, and it just goes up a little bit and kills the death locusts that are around. Me eating bugs. I'm getting the flamethrower. Yeah. I'm writing about those right now too, so it's very on my mind. Death locusts were crowd forged, if I remember right.
I don't remember. Parts of when we get to the bug stuff, I just kind of stop.
You just sort of gloss over those moments.
Just go into my pain.
Oh, yeah, I was watching you. Any attentions? I could get. No, we've talked about other defenses, field defenses. Rockfin says also farmers warning kids for a couple of generations, but then the grandkids ignoring the warning and they get stated. That's interesting. That could be an interesting. I'm assuming you're talking about like the 100-year. Are you talking about warning people in general that, hey, you guys got to watch out for this? This bad thing can happen. Or are you talking about specifically the death locusts?
We've talked about that being done with the acid rain too.
Yeah, because it may not happen for so long. It may go many, many years. When it's on the regular, I think it's every. I don't remember actually. It was a couple of decades or something. So people may be like, that's over. That's not happening. Death locust.
I know that was probably really loud. I'm sorry. I'm working on the edge, so I'm literally just balancing it on my hand.
Yeah, I kind of am. Rockfin says, Grandpa, stay away from there. The death locust will get you. Right. Well, and that's kind of how things like you start using real things as too often that aren't going to happen very often. I can see people not believing it. In my mind, this sort of thing, like all of these dangers that when a family decides we're going to go out and be farmers, switch. They like buff up on all the dangers. They totally believe and know we're about to have another 100-year plague, and we're going to have to be ready for that. They're planning for it. We know we got to worry about Raindar. We know we got to worry about Unicorn. We know we got to worry about tripods. We got to worry about all these things. They take it completely serious, but then if you're there living in it and you keep being told, yeah, keep an eye out for this, and it never shows up, you might be surprised too much when it does show up. Then the kid's response, Rockfan says, is stop trying to scare me, Grandpa. I'm 13, not a baby. Yeah, right? Oh, well, I bet that was loud too. Hurry. Did you just say tripod? Yes. I haven't gotten a dossier together for those, but I've mentioned them actually in dossiers for other things or stories. I think it's mostly stories that little warnings, but not described them or anything. As you can imagine, they have 3 legs.
And that's all we're going to say. Because we're evil like that.
I mean, I will say, because of the context that they're mentioned in, not just now, but every time I mention them, is that they are like dangerous in the way that people fear Reindars, and they're dangerous. What?
You're talking about this and the music just went run, run, run.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Ghosty says, no way, I was expecting them to be a centipede type creature.
Well, you do know Ty pretty well.
I think we're being sarcastic.
I think this one gets, like, you see the bottom is darker. This one separates so badly.
Ghosty says, you know, on the past 2 streams, y'all have said something that sounds really interesting, then you refuse to elaborate. Yeah, I mean, there's gotta be...
I'm a kangaroo.
You're an asshole. No, I'm the kangaroo asshole. Yeah, I mean, we got to keep a little bit of mystery. I'll add to the mystery, actually. Tripods walk really slowly and they don't run, yet they're still very dangerous. Maybe I should do a dossier in the next couple of... It's going to be a fun one. Not if you're there with it. So, I mean, but for all of us, it's fun. I don't remember what we weren't elaborating on. Oh.
Yes.
Folklore type heroes and stuff, right? Talking about, yeah. I'm just thinking the War of the Worlds type tripods. I mean, they had 3 legs, right? They were big. I think I can get scarier than that. Oh, that's what
I'm just laughing because the music, again, it's like, you finished your sentence and it said, and it's coming through your door. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's...
think...
Say they move like the tripods on War of the Worlds.
Might just be done.
So Dawn, we'll develop on that a little bit and maybe drop in dossiers.
Yeah.
It is an interesting predator. Unlike the unicorn, Reindar is a predator. Rockfan says, okay, this music is the start of a horror movie. Be safe, guys.
So we are finished. Of course, you know, he needs to be glued down and he needs clear coat, but...
So like often, and this is one of those times where I wish everybody could see the colors the way they look here in person, but usually it's because, oh, those colors don't look as good. I think that looks, if that was your paint job, that's pretty fun looking.
Yeah, it does look good on camera. It just, the green is definitely brighter in person too.
Yeah. It's definitely different.
Oh, I think so.
Baron, thank you for the 21-bit.
And almost because they're tombstones, I almost want to just like knock him over backwards. Oh, he died. But then he might break, and I don't want to do that because I am actually pretty happy with him. Because like one of the things that I really like is the wings, because they look very purpley like this, and very red like this. So I like that effect. Getting better at it. No, hold on. No, stop it. Grab your rock. There we go. And yes, Golden, this was printed in one piece. On my Jupiter, not my Saturn.
I was gonna say it was probably printed along with other things.
It was actually. There was because there's a lot of room in between his wings on the Jupiter platform.
Oh my god, he's a dragon breathing ghost slime from Ghostbusters.
I was actually thinking I might use some of this to make his fireball a little bigger. It's slime. But it's... Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah.
But I don't...
That really looks like the Slimer stuff from Ghostbusters, doesn't it?
It does. But I don't actually need any.
Ghosty says, I need a Jupiter. That's just so cool. It's big. Very spooky, says Rock Fan. Ghosty says, I want to be able to print dragons in one piece. We still can't do it all the time, though, right?
No, I still can't do it all the time.
We get a lot of dragons ordered, and can't all go on the Jupiter.
Yeah, at one point I was referring to myself, we were shipping out so many different dragons, I referred to myself as the mother of dragons for like a month straight.
Oh, what was the one guy ordered like 5 or 6 dragons, and we were calling that customer the, not dragon trainer, master of dragons?
Yeah, the master of dragons, yeah. Yeah, this was, and this one is, its full size is 75 mil base, so I mean, his wingspan... Down here. Oh!
Rockfan says, burning ghost slime fire is even more scary. It
10
burns
inch.
your soul.
He's got a 10-inch wingspan, and I was able to print it in one go. Base on one side of the print plate, him on the other side, and a few little dragonborns, actually, around him.
Ghosty asks, okay, do you think you could print your Jormungandr in one piece?
Not full size, no. Because
he's really big.
Because of the way he is, I actually looked at it because I want to paint him, but I don't want to assemble that bitch. And I think it's 88 or 89% full scale is not an option yet. Somebody was telling me yesterday, he was like, well, you need to get a bigger printer. I'm like, Christmas present? Anybody?
Do they make a bigger printer we could afford?
That we can afford? No.
Yeah,
no, they make a bigger printer, but not that I can afford.
20 grand or something?
So he is all finished up.
Don't they print upside down, asks Rockfan. Yes.
Oh,
because
yes.
the plate comes up out of the, like, here's the bat, and it comes up out like that. If you look at that picture, actually, that we put in Discord before the stream, you can see the bat, and you can see Xenodragon almost, part of the Xenodragon hanging upside down from there.
So it technically,
We don't have any out there right now.
I have work. We're working on it. We've had some pretty bad technical issues with getting it to do that. But technically, this is the way it prints, is like this. But I don't print things at a 90-degree angle. I tend to print at a 45-degree angle. So you can see a few little supports on this. So this guy printed like this, but he comes out of the plate. Or, sorry, he's actually...
I was going to say that.
Attached to the plate. Like the plate is my hand, and it comes up, and it'll print a sliced layer at a go. So every, few seconds it prints, and then it'll come up and go back down, and then print, and it'll cure its layer, and then it'll come up, and it'll go back down, and it'll print. So it's actually really is kind of fun to watch. Unfortunately, the recordings that I've been able to get so far have been
incomplete,
to say the least. Basically, it will stop recording.
When we used to do these, we would take one of these cameras and we'd bring it downstairs with a laptop, but not very tenable anymore, so we're trying to figure out other ways of doing it.
Yeah. So we had 2 other cameras that we were testing with. One of them literally like would record for 2 or 3 hours and then just stop. It's not full. It's not losing power because it's literally plugged in. It just stops. And I don't know why. The phone, we attempted that and it just kept falling over. So we have technical issues. We are working through them. But yeah, I definitely want to get it where we can do time-lapse videos on YouTube. It would be amazing. It would be so much fun for everybody.
Ghosty says, I still haven't even assembled your Mungunder. I tried for like 3 hours, then decided I was probably going to break him out of frustration if I kept it up. He's a very, very complicated puzzle.
So I have to print them out again, Golden. So what I will do is, because the thing is where they look like they would go, they don't go. I've assembled him like 5 or 6 times now, so I can kind of piece him together really quickly. So I can do a little short video of how you put those pieces together as soon as I have them printed out again.
That's a good idea.
And I'll put it on YouTube or something like that so you can see how it goes together, because where you think the pieces go is not where they go. It's just not. It's super weird. Like even one piece, like this piece should connect here to go around to this piece, and it's not. It's where his head goes. Because his head is at such a low angle that you're like, why would I put his head there? His head would, but nope, that's where his head goes. So
Rockman says, this is why I couldn't 3D print. Gravity scares me. And I have a complicated with printers, but 90% space.
90% of the reason you can't is space. Yeah, I mean,
yes, I got you.
I mean, the reality of our situation is we've got a basement that we've got our printers in, and it's one of those things where we're out of room to add any more.
Yeah, we'll see. Ghosty says, that would be awesome. I do have one piece I may have to try and reprint. The connection point was a little warped and I couldn't quite fix it, so I may have to reprint one of his segments.
Unfortunately, that is a common issue. I'll leave it at that.
You don't want to be more specific, but I think I get what you're getting at.
I'm trying to be polite.
No, I got you. I knew what you're doing. Our basement has my brother's tools and dirt bikes as Rock fan.
Yeah, it's part of it is the luxury of I bought a house because I had 3 children, and now I have 3 grown children. So I have more and more space. Like where we clean and cure parts and pack orders is my oldest daughter's old bedroom.
Right.
Now made into a packing factory.
Yeah, we're pretty much at the point where we'd like to move so that we can get a place with a shop area or something.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm going to stop fiddling and I want to eat lunch.
Ghosty says, I will say Lord of the Prince, large prints have been a little problematic for me. And I think that's what you were getting at. And we love them. We're not going to drop them for sure.
No.
But that's a thing sometimes.
But like,
especially with the bigger ones, right?
Yeah. So I'm grabbing another print. What I find happens more often with, I'm so sorry. What I find happens more often than not with his print specifically is, so there's the bottom of my base, and you can see it's a little tiny, couple of little ridges right there, right, when it catches the light. So Golden, you'll be able to see that real clear when Ed comes to live with you, or Greg, or whatever the hell his name is now. But I can print this like this, and it'll be like that, right? Almost perfect. It lays perfectly flat, so it's no big deal at all. You can't see it from the top. It just doesn't matter. Then I printed a second time, changing literally nothing, and I get that. Where you can see fairly large ridge. You can see it from right here. You can see the distortion bleh, all the way around.
Same settings and everything.
Literally nothing changed. Same printer, same resin, same settings, same everything. But that happened on one, that happened on the other, and I print it again, and it'll be perfectly flat. And I see it with that specifically more than anybody else. But I get that.
Yeah.
So I don't care. I get that. It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
Yeah,
store time. See you guys later.
It's lunchtime for me, guys. So I am going to be done. We've got Golden.
Great dragon today, Rock Fan says.
Thank you. Golden, this will be heading to you. He will be listed on our shop as soon as I got him golden glued down.
I love his prints, love his designs, but yeah, it can be pretty frustrating. I kind of view it as high risk, high reward. That's ghosty.
Yeah. It really is. That's probably the perfect way to say it, Golden.
Talk
Hi
to you guys
guys.
later.
It's lunchtime. Yay.
All right, we're done.
We're
Thanks
done.
for hanging out, folks. Bye.